Do we know? I don't know if you guys learned this in pre-algebra. Did you guys know that the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b? We did learn that y equals mx plus b. Okay. Slope-intercept form, exactly. So when you have an equation of a line, before you learn this just looked like a whole bunch of letters next to each other, right? But then after your teachers taught it to you, you learn that these each represent something. Who remembers what the b in y equals mx plus b represents?
Isn't it like the point that like goes through?
Yeah, the b is your y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. Who remembers what m represents? The slope. And now what a lot of students don't know, they usually remember that m is the slope, that b is the y-intercept. What they don't usually remember is that x and y represent every single point that exists on that line. That's what x and y represent. And so the reason I brought it back to an equation of a line is because before you learned about it, none of those variables made sense to you. And that's going to be very similar to an equation of a circle. So I'm going to tell you what an equation of a circle looks like, but it's not going to make sense until I explain it to you. So there are two most important parts of a circle. Don't write this down, but there are two most important parts of the circle. Based on our proofs and everything that we've done so far, does anybody want to take a guess what the two most important parts of a circle are? Stella? Excellent. The center point is the first most important part. And then there's one more important part of a circle that tells us basically how big the circle is going to be. Do you know what that is? So here's our center. Don't draw this. There's our center. What decides how far out it's going, the circle, how big it's going to be? The radius, exactly. The other important part is the radius, because the radius tells us how far from the center to the rim of the circle is, it right? And aren't all radii congruent, meaning it's the same distance from the center to each of those points? So the two most important parts of a circle will be the center and the radius. So the equation of a circle has to be we'd have to be able to identify a center and a radius. So let's write this down. The equation of a circle is going to be parentheses x minus h quantity squared. So put that in parentheses. Oh, sorry, I put 5. Don't write that, right? H. Plus y minus k in parentheses quantity squared equals r squared. And in this equation, in order for us to look at this equation and have it make sense to us, we need a number for h, we need a number for k, and we need a number for r. So h comma k is going to represent the center, and r is going to be the radius. Okay, so now we're being asked to write the equation of a circle with the center 1, 5 and a radius of 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in 1 for h, we're going to plug in 5 for k, and the 4 for r. So what does this look like? This is going to look like x minus 1, close your parentheses squared, plus y minus 5 close your parentheses and square it, equals 4 squared. The only thing we have to do now is square that 4. So it's going to be x minus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 5 quantity squared equals 16. And that is the equation of our circle in standard form. Okay, you guys try number 2 on your own. Here's the equation of our circle that you always plug into. So you're trying number 2 on your own. Number 2 is a little bit sneaky. Let's see if you guys fall for my trick or not. Oh, there's no spot to type it. Oh, you guys have a spot? Oh, yeah, it's okay if you don't type it. How come I don't have a spot? It's odd. Who needs another minute? Was that too happy for you, Sebastian? Do you wish you were in another class? Do you wish you could just leave and never be in our classroom full of joy again? Do you feel angry? You feel angry right now? Is there too many happy colors in this classroom? Oh, no, guys, we're recording. No. All right, we ready? So we need to plug into the formula x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. Now remember, we need numbers for h, we need a number for k, and we need a number for r. Those are the 3 variables we need numbers for. So the h is going to be the x coordinate in our center point. Oh, sorry, let me write not x, or put h. And the 8 is going to be the k coordinate in our center point. So now we're going to go to our parentheses, but now be very careful. This ends up being x minus what? Not 7. A negative 7. Ooh, how many people did I trick? This is x minus a negative 7 squared plus y minus 8 quantity squared equals 6 squared. So now there's simplifying that needs to be done. What simplifying needs to be done? Doesn't a double negative make a positive? So now this is going to make it x plus 7 quantity squared plus the quantity of y minus 8 squared equals 6 squared, which is 36. All right, so now this brings me to another observation that I'm making. Because the formula has minuses in the parentheses, when it's actually a minus, like the first one, wasn't my center positive 1, positive 5? So when there's a minus, it's actually positive. And when there's a plus, it's actually negative. So we need to remember that in the equation of a circle, when it's basically the opposite sign. When there's a minus, it's positive. When there's a plus, it's negative. So let's do more problems. Let's cross off number 3 and do number 4. So again, we're plugging into x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals the radius squared. All right, Sebastian, plug in for me. Perfect. So it's going to be x minus what? Perfect. X minus negative 2 quantity squared plus then what else? Oh, wait, no, negative 2 is not for x. I said yes, but that was wrong. That's 0. Sorry. I encouraged the wrong answer. Good. So then it's going to be y minus what? Negative 2 quantity squared equals what? Square root of 11 squared. All right. Can I leave it like this, do you think? No, there's simplifying that needs to be done. Do you think I need to write minus 0? No, I don't need to write minus 0 because it's saying take nothing away. So I can just write x squared. Are we okay with that? Nope. If you wrote minus 0, I'd still mark it correct. All right. More importantly, I see a double negative. What happens when there's a double negative? We have to make it a positive. So we're going to have y plus 2 quantity squared. And now the last thing you need to remember, when I square a square root, this is root 11 squared. This is the square root of 11 times the square root of 11. Who remembers what happens when you multiply a radical times itself? Excellent. The radicals cancel and it just turns into the whole number. So this ends up being positive whole number 11. All right, so now what we're going to do, find the center and the radius of each circle using the standard form equation below. All right, so now remember, we have to know what the equation is supposed to look like. The equation is supposed to look like x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. So I see this, it's in pretty good format already. It's matching up really good. So now remember, my center is which 2 letters? Is it my center h comma k? So what number matches with the h in the problem they gave me? 2. Is it going to be positive 2 or negative 2? Positive. Remember I said it's the opposite. So when it's a minus, it's positive, but when it's a plus, it's negative. So my center point is going to be 2 comma. Now the k matches with 7. Is that a positive 7 or a negative 7? Negative 7. My radius is not 64. My radius squared is 64. How do I find just the radius, do you think? If the radius squared is 64, I don't want the full squared. I want just the radius. Not divide by 2 because it's not saying 2 times r. To undo a square, does anybody remember what do we have to take? Remember that square root? So what's the square root of 64? What number times itself gives me 64? 8. So our radius is 8. Hello, Mr. Collodi. Mr. Collodi, do you feel that this room is too full of joy that it makes you angry?
At this exact moment, 100%. Energy is just bustling from this room. Hardly Keep it contained, right?
There you go. So these boys are not alone. They're angry with the joy in the room.
With the joy. Angry with the joy in the room?
They're angry with the joy in the room.
I could also see the anger in this. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, guys.
All right, guys. So now here again, we're in the perfect format where x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. My center has to be the point HK. Jaxie, what is my center point here? -5, perfect. And since there's no number with the y, what is that? 0, perfect. How many people were thinking that? Perfect. All right, now the radius is a little bit trickier. The radius squared is 9/4. We still have to take the square root, but really you're just taking the square root of the numerator and the denominator. What's the square root of 9? 3. What's the square root of 4? 2. So our radius is 3/2. All right, Jay, you're up. What is the center for number 7? 0, comma, +3. Perfect. Now, the radius squared is 28. To undo a square, we take the square root. The problem is there is no number times itself that gives me 28. Who remembers when it wasn't a perfect square, how did we simplify the radicals? What did we have to do? Break it down. So we're going to break down that 28. I'm going to go, I don't know, I'm going to go 2 and 14. And then for 14, I'm going to go 2 and 7. Can I break down any more? No, but don't I have a pair of 2s? Is it okay that I'm circling from different branches? Yeah. That 2, does it go on the outside or the inside? Outside. How many times? Once. So I have one pair of 2s, so that means 1 2 is going on the outside. What's left on the inside? 7. So our radius is 2√7. Okay, I want you guys to try number 8 on your own, and then we'll go over it. All right, Kate, you're up. Tell me, what is my center point? Okay, and now my radius squared is 50. I have to square root both sides. I'm going to break down 50 into 25 and 2, and then 25 becomes 5 and 5. So my radius is 5√2. How many people got that correct? Perfect. All right, next page. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to sketch each circle. So in order to sketch a circle, all I need is a center and a radius. So my center point here, green, my center is the point 3, 2. My radius isn't 25. What's my radius? 5. Anybody confused with how I got either the center or the radius? Okay, so now the first thing you want to do is plot your center. Now remember, the point is always x comma y. So I go 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then up 2. There is my center point, point 3, 2. And now from that center point, I'm going to move in my radius every direction. So I'm going to go 5 to the right. I'm going to go 5 to the left from the center point. I'm going to go 5 up from the center point, and I'll go 5 down from the center point. And then you connect those 4 points the best you can. And there's our circle. That's all you have to do. So you guys try, you guys try number 10. Computer. So you guys are doing number 10. Okay, so for this one, what is my, Maya, you're up. What is my center point? Zero, positive 1? Perfect. So my center point is 0, negative 1. So that's down here. And what is my radius, Maya? 7. How many people got that correct? Center and radius. Okay, so now my radius is 7. So up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down 7 from the center. Left center, 7 from the center. And right 7 from the center. And so that looks something like this. All right, next page. Don't worry about the rest of these problems on this page. It's along the same lines of the same thing. So let's go to the next page. So now what I'm doing is I'm giving you a circle, and I want you to write the equation based on the circle. Well, in order for us to write an equation, we need to make it look like x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals the radius squared. So the two things I need will be a center and a radius. Do we agree this point I just highlighted in purple is my center? What coordinate is that? 0, 0. And now my radius is the distance from the center to a point. Well, they gave me this point right here. So I'm just going to count. From 0 to that point, from the origin to that point, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we agree that's 6 units? So my radius is 6. So when I go to plug in, it's going to be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 6 squared. So that's going to simplify down to x squared plus y squared equals what? 36. Actually, I'm using it because my computer's going to die. We only have one more problem to do. Yes. X minus 0 squared, you mean? Yep, you could absolutely keep it x minus 0 squared here. We could use it for this last problem. All right, number 14. You guys do number 14 on your own, and then we'll be done. Oh. Actually, I want to show you, do 14, and then we'll do 16, then we'll be done. All right, so for this one, we're going to have x minus 2 squared plus y minus a negative 3 squared equals the radius. Now we got to find the radius. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so equals 5 squared. So this is going to be x minus 2 squared plus the quantity of y plus 3 squared equals 25. How many people got that? Okay, the last one I need to show you because it's a little bit different is number 16. My center point is negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I can't just count from my center to the point on the circle because it's not a straight, perfect straight line. It's sort of slanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the coordinate of this. This is 2 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the point 2, 8. I need to find the distance from the point 1, 4, negative 1, 4 to 2, 8. And the way we're going to do that is using the distance formula. So we have x square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And the 2 points we're going to use will be the points negative 1, 4 and the point 2, 8. So this is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2. And now we just plug into the formula. So I have the square root of 2 minus a negative 1 squared plus 8 minus 4 squared. This double negative makes a positive. So I have 2 plus 1 squared plus 8 minus 4 squared. So we're going to have 3 squared plus 4 squared. So we have 9 plus 16. Square root of 25 is 5. So what did I just find here? What is 5? No, the 5 is the radius. The 5 is this radius. So now I have everything I need. It's going to be x minus negative 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 5 squared. So my final answer is going to be x plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 25. So that distance formula that we learned way back when came back into play now. All right, so we are officially done with today's lesson. You do have homework. You have 10 minutes left in class. You could start the homework, probably finish it, and I will stop recording.